Hey, everybody, welcome back to season 2 of Scream on MTV. Francis, Alonso, Bibbs will be joining us later in the season. He promises he couldn't make it this morning.
The A-team back together.
Yes. But season 2, episode 1, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think every episode this season is going to be named for a classic slasher movie, which is a very kind of Hannibal
Would you say it was a classic?
motif. Well,
at
of
the
the
time,
genre,
it was good,
it was a big deal.
At the
You know,
time,
it was
good.
that was. It actually was also written by Kevin Williamson.
Yes,
so,
who
you
was
know,
the main actress in it again?
that was Sarah Michelle
Sarah
Gellar.
Michelle Gellar was the first one.
Yeah.
I remember it. But I liked it, to be honest.
It's all right, yeah. You know, we could have lived with I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but, you know, a lot of times these things don't know when to quit. So Scream, obviously we're looking at the original Scream movies had to keep bringing back certain characters over and over again, which meant not killing them.
Yes.
Which is fairly unknown within this genre. For the most part, like your Friday the 13th, you know, tend to start over from scratch every time with a whole set of new teen meat puppets.
Yeah.
But this is series television, and this is not, you know, I think people thought that Scream might be like True Detective, where each season was going to be sort of a discrete story, but nope. We're back in Lakewood?
Lakewood, I think it is. I mean, there's... you hit the nail on the head there. It's so difficult to make a remake of something that is in its own genre. Like Scream the movie itself, everything just went downhill, I think, from the first one. And it was because I didn't enjoy. I mean, I love the
I like 3.
Did you like them all?
I like 3 and 4 even. Yeah.
I did like it, but it's such a hard thing to do to continuously bring back those characters and think that those are the ones, because you're trying to make it as realistic as possible. And how do you do it when you consistently have the same characters just avoid near-death situations time and time again? But in this show, I think that's even more difficult because you have a TV series now and you have so many different episodes that play out like little movies on their own. So how are you going to manage to do it whilst putting the favorite characters in these compromised situations? And what they did is they just went, hey, we're going to do that, but you never know. Someone could easily die, as we're going to jump ahead. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't watched it. From what we are left to allude to is that Jake...
It is not looking good for Jake.
It's not looking good for Jake, unless he is pulling some sort of Glenn from The Walking Dead maneuver to get himself out of that situation. He looks like he's toast.
Yeah, unless he is wearing like a fake blood bag, you know, not looking good. The interesting twist I think we have here is that it looks like this season is going to be about trying to figure out who Piper's helper was. Although we know who Piper's accomplice was. It was Audrey.
Yes, exactly.
But Audrey is being pursued by somebody, and everybody thinks the person pursuing Audrey is Piper's accomplice, but that can't be true.
Yes.
So who is it? You know?
And that I like that storyline, and I like how they're gonna the inner demons that Audrey is gonna be dealing with is easily the most interesting story. And by the way, I love what they're doing with Noah, because he's so right in one of the, like, everyone wants to go back to normal, but if you're going to make it as real as possible, that is a traumatic situation, and certain people will just not be able to escape it. He had that serial killer,
the murder board.
Like he loves the serial killer movies and he loves slasher movies, so he already had that inside of him. So when something like this happens, it's just going to obviously play on. And I like now that we are suspecting is his, I would say, his need to find out more and explore everything in depth now going to push him towards the spotlight. Is he the new one to look out for? Because like there could be a sense that everything got to him a little too much, and the only way he could deal with it is to act out the thing that he's obsessed with.
No, absolutely. There's, you know, he's a very interesting character, and I think there's a lot of potential for some twisted, you know, alleyways for him. And you know, Emma obviously has been away to recover from the events of season 1, and she is the first to be like, okay, can we not like all tiptoe around this? Like, let's not have this elephant in the room be breathing down our neck. Like, let's just agree that it's there and deal with it. So that's refreshing, at least. And then, you know, it's funny, Brooke has really grown on me. Like, she was, I would have pegged her as somebody who they would have killed off in season 1 because she seemed like such a kind of composite stereotype character.
Drew Barrymore-like character that gets killed in Scream.
Yeah, like just like, oh, awful rich girl and, you know, whatever. But she, you know, they've having allowed her to stick around, we've gotten to get to see more facets of her, and I think, you know, I care about her relationship with Jake.
And that's what, exactly, and that's what this show is going to be make or break for me. Season 1, I felt like I got on board a little too late for me to be like so engrossed, because I didn't feel any connection with any of the main characters. I didn't worry so much about any of them dying. The only real one that I felt was when Noah's girlfriend died, because I cared about Noah. Not as much that I cared about like her dying, but it was like, poor guy, you just can't catch a break. Whereas I do care for Brooke, and I do like her relationship with Jake, and I do like the idea that they're going to say that that's something that you might see a little Rob Pattinson, Kristen Stewart relationship forming between them both. You can maybe get a little teen drama going on, but we're just going to kill him anyway. So now she's going to, or potentially kill him. Right. So you're going to have to see how she deals with that.
And Kieran is still a bore, I'm sorry.
There's only so much you can skate by on your smolderingly handsome good looks. Like, take it from me, first-hand value.
Oh, well, yes.
I know what I'm talking about.
Get real with us
There's
now.
only so much you can sit around and pout and wink and get yourself...
Poor you, Francis.
Poor yourself is intriguing. But I am so on board with that, Alonso. He is so boring to me.
And I love how on this show, Sheriff's son is like...
always creepy.
Is preacher's kid, you know? Like, the idea of, like, that they're always trouble and you got to check twice.
You don't even beat around the bush with it. Like, he's the sheriff's son, really creepy. It's just like, that's all you need. That's the requirements.
But no, I love Audrey. I like that she is kind of on both sides of the fence this season and is both, you know, victim and clearly having been a victimizer. And, you know, I think she is, the show has acknowledged that she's their secret weapon.
Yeah, and I love that they've always toyed around with how this murder spree would be so much easier to kind of portray in front of everyone's eyes in this day and age compared to when Scream was, because like, they'll Snapchat to death, or they'll FaceTime to death. Yes. And now they've moved into YouTube internet trolls. And they're like, this is how this happens. It's like there's a troll conversation going on.
The comment section is just a hotbed of homicide waiting to happen.
It's funny, Noah actually sounds like Ben Mankiewicz when I first started in here. He's like, don't read the comments. You don't need to read the comments. Like they're going to rip you apart.
He's absolutely right. Yes. Don't read the comments. It's never worth it. Comment and tell us what you think.
Comment, tell us what you think. No. Yeah, but Noah's saying that he's got his own podcast now, which is a smart moneymaker to kind of capitalize on this obviously this thing.
Especially now that Piper's show is off the air.
He may as well take over. And that's why another reason why people are going to look to him to be the next killer as for what happened with him. So what happened at the end was intriguing. We can only, like, they love to leave you on a cliffhanger, so we have Emma going into, for someone that wants to just move on and just put everything out there, she's pretty, like, trying to explore things.
She puts that Nancy Drew hat on real fast.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I got to say, I'm intrigued. I'm in, like, I've run hot and cold with this show. There were moments in the first season I thought, oh, that's clever and that's even kind of scary, and then other moments were just kind of like, I don't. But you know, I think now they've maybe kind of hit a groove. It's it's a different creative crew. Like there's new showrunners this season, but I think that working within the context of what's created, it looks like they're going to be taking into some interesting directions. Obviously, the next couple months will tell one way or the other. But
yeah, there was a point I remember last season when we were reviewing it, and I just said, you know what, like the acting's questionable, things are mediocre, but who cares? Like at least it's a show that's saying we're going to take some risks, and we're not going to play it safe, and having coming back off the back of a Walking Dead, it seems like it's a tenure in this company of me reviewing Walking Dead, and each episode I'm like, and that's why I enjoy Fear the Walking Dead, because they take some risks. So I'm not going to criticize the show for the acting being poor or for them being a little silly, which the acting still can be better at times. I think the Jake Brooke Poe scenario was questionable. He's like, I'll show you. And I was like, okay, we'll see.
You're saying they need better handsome men.
Yes, better handsome men who don't just play smolderingly handsome men. So if you need information, I'm sure you'll find it.
He's in the book. All right, so come back this season. We're gonna be waltzing our way through MTV's Scream season 2, and we'll have more to say about it. So come back.